to Where I Long to Be, a magical trip report podcast. My name is Virginia and I am your host. I don't have any questions or hot takes submitted this week, but if you want to submit something for next time, you can do that by clicking on the Leave Virginia a Voice Message button on my website, which is whereilongtobepodcast.com. Happy Monday to you all, and welcome to another fun episode. I am fresh off a weekend in Pennsylvania with some of my Disney dames, and I'm feeling pretty high on life right now because spending time and quality time at that with girlfriends will do that for you. While we were there, we were hosted by my friends Maria and Chrissy's parents, so shout out to Jim and Ann for being such amazing hosts. The highlights of the weekend were A, getting to visit Knoebels Amusement Park for the first time. It is a place that Maria and Chrissy had visited many times growing up, and the reason that my voice is so froggy today because of all the screaming we did on the roller coasters. And B, getting to book the final piece of our hotel puzzle for our upcoming trip to Paris. And since I'm mentioning Paris, I have to mention our wonderful travel agent, Rebecca, who has been coordinating this trip for us. Rebecca actually has been a podcast guest on her own trip to Disneyland Paris. So when the Disney Dames and I decided to take a trip ourselves in honor of the 5-year anniversary of our friendship, I knew I had to reach out to Rebecca to help us plan. So we are very excited, and I cannot wait to share more about it when we do our own podcast interview about that trip. On today's show, I am welcoming back Alex to the podcast. Alex had a big party for this trip, just like she did a year ago. Her group included herself and her husband, Will, along with sons Teddy, who was 7, and Charlie, who was almost 5. Also along for the fun were the grandparents, Lisa and Richard, and close family friends Jacob and April with their daughter Juniper, who is about 6 months old. They planned to stay at Coronado Springs for 3 nights in the Gran Destino Tower before hopping over to the Swan for a night. From there, they were heading out to Cocoa Beach for some relaxation and a visit to Kennedy Space Center. As always, Alex used her longtime travel agent, Amy Belfi, to plan her trip. Amy's been on the show herself a couple times and is also a travel agent for our friend Elizabeth, who longtime listeners will know and I know they love because they always tell me they do. Amy's information is in the show notes in case you are looking for your own travel agent. So please do reach out to her if you're planning a trip of your own. That should catch you up enough to enjoy the episode. If you do love the show, and I hope you do, please go ahead and give it a rating or a review. It really helps to push the podcast in the algorithm to be suggested to others who might also be interested in this type of content. If you have your own magical trip that you're planning and are interested in being on the show yourself, you can find that link to do so in the show notes. I'm currently looking for people with trips in early 2027. And now, let's get to it. Please welcome back Alex. Welcome back, Alex.
Nice to be here, Virginia.
We are talking on June 14th, and your trip ended on June the 8th. So, have you readjusted to life, and how was the trip overall?
We're getting used to being back here. It's good so far, but we definitely needed those beach days at the very end of the vacation because we went very hard at all the rides and
Uh-huh.
exhausted ourselves after 8 days at Disney.
How was the heat?
The heat was it was not as bad as last time, but it was hot, definitely,
Mm-hmm.
until our last couple of days at Hollywood, and then the weather got really, really nice, actually.
Okay. All right. Well, let's walk all through this. You had kind of a big group. So yourself, your husband, Will, Teddy, who's 7, Charlie, who's almost 5, and then you also had mom and dad and some family friends with you for a portion of it. So 9 people all in total. I mean, eight and a half if you're counting baby Juniper. But which
You're
I do count
counting.
her. I count her. So how was it doing a trip like this with that many people in tow?
It was, it wasn't as complicated as last time. Last time we had, I think, 14 people.
Oh yeah, you
Um,
did have a lot of
so
people last time.
yeah, so it didn't seem quite as bad, and everybody was flexible. It was a little tough with the babies. Sometimes our friends had to go off someplace that we couldn't, follow. It didn't make sense, so we, sort of went our separate ways a few times. But for the most part, it worked out pretty well. My parents helped with the kids, and Everybody just kind of, got got along pretty well, and we just did our things and basically just focused on stuff the kids wanted to do, which
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you about later. Made us skip our second guardian.
Oh my goodness.
Teddy found a new ride he loves, although he loves so many now because
Mm-hmm.
he's taller, so he could do
Mm-hmm.
a lot more.
Okay. Before we get into all of that fun, I have to ask you about your quick service dining plan. So, how did that work out for your family? Did you leave any snack credits on the table that you didn't utilize? And how did you feel about it overall in terms of value and what you were trying to get from it?
So we did it because it was kids free, which we sort of it seemed like we couldn't pass that up. It was a pretty good deal. I actually might even do it full price next time. We liked it, especially
Hmm.
when we're staying at Coronado because there's so many nice quick service dining options. We were in the tower, so we
Hmm.
could just walk over to El Mercado, and we were pretty happy with those options. We kind of like to do more of the rides and we enjoy the dining, but I would say probably we focus more on the rides. So I don't know. We really liked it. I think it worked out overall.
Hmm.
We got a lot out of it.
All right, let's dive right in. So, Thursday, May the 28th, you were flying down in the afternoon, expecting to arrive at 6 p.m. How was your flight? Was it on time? Everything go smoothly?
It could there could have been a better start.
Oh no, what happened?
We started. It wasn't terrible. It could have been worse. We could have had, turbulence or something. But we left almost an hour late. The flight attendants were kind of rude to the kids and
Oh.
me and other people's children too. I think it was just maybe the end of the day. I don't know. But yeah, so not the greatest start. I, I don't know that there's much we can do about it. We got our flights kind of late. Initially, we planned on driving and not flying.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe go aim for like a earlier morning flight next time or something.
Okay. And Mears was your method of transportation to get over to Coronado. So, how'd you like it?
That was a bad decision.
No.
I think we're gonna have to do something direct next time. It was very late. We were very tired, and just we were the second to last stop out of four resorts.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while to get there. So next time, maybe we'll try. I don't think I've ever Ubered in my life before, but we might try Uber
Mm-hmm.
or just get a direct um, vehicle.
Yeah. So I usually do Lyft, just because I use it a lot. Like it's my app of choice for calling a car. And with a family of three, it it's not so bad, and it I can usually find one that will accommodate all of our luggage and everything. Once you start getting past four people, it's questionable whether the vehicle that will pull up to get you will have enough room for your things. So you always have to do the XL version. So it gets a little bit more expensive. And then when you're talking about mirrors and you're paying per person, and then considering, I think your parents were also on the same flight. Is that right?
They weren't on the same flight, so it would have been just us four. I
Okay.
didn't even know that they would take an Uber, honestly.
No, I was going to say, like, when you start to get to that many people, I think it's better to get a private car service,
Yeah.
because then you know for a fact they're going to have enough room for your things. You know for a fact they're going to be paying attention to your flight. So if you're late or whatever, they're still going to be there. I don't have a particular company that I recommend. I mean, lots of people have used them, and I've talked to people on the show, and I've used some myself. But there's lots of good options out there, and I think it just makes sense when you're talking about a certain number of people and higher. So, all right. You arrived at your resort and didn't have any plans for this evening necessarily, except for getting settled. What did you do with your evening, and how was your room?
So we really liked the Coronado. I think we might go back. The room was really nice. We were in the tower. We were on the fourth floor.
Mm-hmm.
We were not facing the water, which would have been nice. We were just kind of facing the front.
Mm-hmm.
But we really liked it. And it was, like I said, on the first night, really convenient to just go down to El Mercado and
Yeah.
get food. And once we figured everything out, we actually went outside accidentally, but then realized we could go inside. And it rains a fair bit, so that makes a difference. But
Mm-hmm.
we liked it.
How did
It
your
was nice.
parents like their room? Because they were not in the tower. They were in one of the outer buildings, which I refer to all of those outer buildings as casitas, although I recognize they're not all called casitas.
So our my parents were actually in the tower with us. Our friends were in the casitas. Um,
Oh.
but they liked the tower. We actually had connecting rooms, which was
Mm-hmm.
nice. The boys really liked that they
Oh,
could just like
perfect.
knock on their door and go straight in,
Oh,
and
I'm
wake them
looking here in my
up.
notes, and there is a comma between parents and friends. So friends are in the outer building. Gotcha.
Oh, I might stay in the casitas though. Our friends were able to walk to the pool. They were pretty close to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if we stayed there and again, like we'd want to be close to the pool. It was a little bit of a walk from the tower to the pool.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe like a preferred room or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Although if it had rained a bunch, I don't know, that could change the equation too.
Sure. It's like, what do you want to be closer to? I mean, there's pluses and minuses to both. But I don't feel like the casitas or whatever you call them, I don't think it's that far to walk. I mean, I guess it is if it's raining. If it's raining, it's going to feel like forever. But if it's not raining, it's not such a bad walk to get over to Mercado, in my opinion. But I also, don't really mind walking. All right, let's get into your first full day here. Friday, May the 29th was an Epcot day, and you did have multi-pass lightning lane for this day. So walk me through it.
Yeah, so since this was our first day, all of our Lightning Lane passes were super late.
Mm-hmm.
We had a frozen one, but that like there were all kinds of issues with a bunch of the rides at Epcot in the morning initially. Um, so that one it got delayed. Um, I guess we did eventually get there. My dad was delayed at security for quite some time. I don't know what he had that made him search him that first day. So we rope dropped, but just barely.
All right. So I have in my notes here that you were trying to rope drop Frozen this day because Charlie loves it so much. So even though you were like a little bit delayed with security and everything with rope drop, how did that go? Was Frozen closed? It sounds like maybe there were some closures.
So Frozen was actually not closed this day. It was closed the next time that we went. We did get onto Frozen, but then
Okay.
when we looked at all of the other options for our lighting lanes, there was not much. It was packed in Epcot
Mm,
that day because it was one of the last days of Flower and Garden. It was
mm-hmm.
beautiful. We're very glad that we did a couple of days there during Flower and Garden, but it was completely packed. There were no lighting lanes to really pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so what we did is we got the first one that we could. Um, the boys really didn't feel like going back to like the Nemo show or anything like that. Um, so we literally just like signed into the Pixar Film Festival thing and then left and went
Mm-hmm.
to Magic Kingdom that morning. So it was actually kind of a Magic Kingdom day. And
Oh,
then eventually we got back to Epcot later that night to do our lightning lanes that were very late in the day.
okay. All right. So what time did you hop over to Magic Kingdom then?
So right after that, if we had like a 9:05 Pixar, and we clocked in there, and then got onto the monorail.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
my,
Quite early.
my husband thought he knew how to navigate the monorail and insisted that we stay on, so we actually took two rides on the monorail.
Oh,
We
wait,
took
wait,
a
wait,
loop.
wait. You did two loops between Magic Kingdom and Epcot.
Yeah.
That's not
So
short.
no, the boys liked it, so it wasn't that big of a deal. It was a little funny. We've been teasing him about it a bit. Um, But on the way out, we did the butterfly garden, which was very pretty. So that's an Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we got off the monorail, we went to Tiana's, which is one of the boys' favorite rides.
Mm-hmm.
They both love that one. And then we got I Love You floats because by the time we got off, it was basically like almost lunchtime.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, we all had they love the little floats with the pop rocks.
Mm-hmm.
I like them.
Yeah, I haven't had one in a while. I was just thinking for my upcoming trip, I'm trying to make a list of all the things I want to remember to do. And one of them is to get the I Lava You float because it's been such a while.
Yeah, and I tried the Tropical Serenade too later on in the trip, and that was really good because I'd heard so many things about it. I actually tried a lot of new stuff this time around. The I Love You float was really the only thing I went back to.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the Tropical Serenade is my favorite, and there's just something about it. Like, and it comes with a cake pop, so you can't really beat that. All right, where did you head next?
So we went to Barnstormer. The boys really liked that. That's a lot like Goofy Sky School that's in California.
Mm-hmm.
We went to California for spring break. Then we did the Tiki Room. I really wanted to see it. I can see why, it has very short wait times, but it was cute. I don't think I need
It's
to
air
go back.
conditioning, you know?
It is. So
Although
then we got,
I have to shout out to my friend Maria right now because it's one of her favorite attractions ever. So Tiki Room is amazing. We're not going to disparage the Tiki Room here.
I liked it. I'm glad we did it once, but we're probably not going back for a
It's
while.
you know what? It's a classic, and when you hear the songs and everything, like it's one that I don't do every single time, but when I do it, I'm just like, "Oh yeah, this is so cute."
Yeah. So then we went back to Epcot for lunch at Connections.
Hmm.
Uh, and that was good. I actually got one of the garden glimmer drinks that they have there.
Oh, I'm jealous. They were out of it when I was there.
It
How
was
was
really
it?
good.
Okay.
It was
All right.
very, very good. My dad had one too, and he liked it. And it
Mm,
was very pretty. It was both beautiful and very tasty.
mm.
I taught my parents how to mobile order, and that worked out fairly well, although it took forever still. Just getting any food there seems to take a long time.
Connections always takes a long time, and I don't know why that is. It seems like they have a big kitchen and lots of people helping, but it always takes a long time. But good on you for teaching them how to mobile order. I think mobile ordering is the way to go, and if you have people in your party who don't know how to do it, it's up to those of us who do to spread the knowledge so that people can have that option when they're on their own trips. All right, what was after Connections?
So we were right there for Guardians. We had Lightning Lane.
Mhm.
Um, this wound up being the only time we did it. We had a lightning lane for Guardians that we wound up turning into something else later on in the trip, just because some things did break down. Um, but that was fun. We got the Blondie song,
One
one
way
way
or
or another.
another. Yep.
hmm and all of both of my kids were able to go this time. So Charlie's finally tall enough.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He almost chickened out, but he made it on and he went. I don't know that he's going to want to go again until he's a little older.
Mhm.
Um, but Teddy loved it. And they both got a couple of souvenirs there. Um, they like the gift shop. They like the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. So Charlie got
Good.
a little good stuffy. Teddy got a little web slinger thing.
Mhm. Very cool. All right. What were your later lightning lanes on this day?
So our later lightning lanes were Soarin' and Test Track.
Mhm.
And we did make it onto Test Track, or not Test Track. We did make it onto Soarin', but not Test Track. Test Track broke down before our lightning lane hit, and it was our Test Track lightning lane was 6:15 or something very late.
Mhm.
And so by the time that, it got back, well, it never got back up while we were there, we were ready to leave the park.
Mhm.
And so I went to guest services and asked them if they could change it to Monday, which they did, and we had an anytime pass on Monday.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, it never hurts to ask. So I'm glad you did that because test track is not an easy one to get. I'm glad you were able to make that switch.
Oh, it wound up being Teddy's favorite, and we wound up doing it a few times, as much as we could. So I was glad
Good.
that we made that happen.
Very good. Now dinner was at San Angel. So how was that?
It was good. We liked it, but we had a lightning lane for Soren right before,
Oh,
and
okay.
we got on it, and it took 40 minutes to get on for our lightning lane. Um, we we were actually a little bit late, and it was starting to rain.
Mhm.
So we got there and we were very wet, and inside it was a little cold, but the food was very good. We liked it. Our
Mhm.
friends were not able to make it because there was a big accident on the highway that
Oh.
delayed them, so they weren't able to get there in time. They should have
Mm.
been there with plenty of time, but they just couldn't make it that night, and it's their favorite, so that was a little bit sad. But
Mm.
it's such a nice atmosphere inside there with like the boats and the volcano and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
Teddy loved the volcano.
Yeah. Good. Did you stay for the fireworks and was it still raining at that point?
We did not stay for the fireworks. I made a deal with my husband that we were only going to stay for fireworks at two places, and we had stayed at Epcot the last time to do the fireworks, and I think the fireworks at Magic Kingdom and Hollywood are probably better, and those are the ones we did.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, so let's get into Saturday, May the 30th. This was an official Magic Kingdom day. So, what time did you end up getting over there? Did you try for rope drop again?
We did do rope drop. We did rope drop every morning. It would be, I think we actually made it, we did rope drop pretty much every morning. We did have a very late night, the night that we did fireworks at Magic Kingdom, but we did rope drop this morning. We got some pictures with the castle behind us. We'll probably turn those into Christmas cards at some point. The best one's actually the one of us like acting like monsters or something. I forget what the prompt was for us to take the shot, but the magic shot was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
My mom likes to get the photos. We had matching t-shirts and stuff. Our first ride was Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that. We got stuck on it briefly, and so my husband almost got, I think he almost got Galactic Hero on that one because we
Mm.
were stuck and he was just hitting the button over and over again. Um, and he's much better at it than the rest of us.
Did you
Uh,
like the updates to the ride?
I did. I thought it was good. I mean, it's not a huge difference, but it was nice. But you could tell it was refurbished.
Yeah, I think it's nice that you can at least tell where you're hitting. Like whereas before it was very, hard to tell if you were actually hitting a target or not.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, what was after Buzz?
Okay, so after Buzz, our friends met us in the park, and so we did the raceway,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they got some breakfast too before that. Our friend Jake went with us on the raceway, and then baby Junie and our friend April stayed off of that one. But then we saw the Jungle Cruise had a really short wait time, so we walked across the park to that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was a lot of fun. I felt like the skipper was really good this time around, so I did a cast compliment actually for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then we did Tiana's. We had a lightning lane for that. That was just my family and my parents. Um, and then we kind of climbed up in the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse for a little while. And then we walked across the park again to go to Tron.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so my dad did Rider Swap, which they saved for later on that night. And he and Teddy went together. Um, and they really liked that. It was cool to do it at night, but they
Mm-hmm.
almost didn't make it for the parade. I think they actually missed a lot of the parade later that day.
Mm-hmm. Now, with Charlie being tall enough to do Guardians, and now perhaps was he not tall enough for Tron?
He was not tall enough for Tron because
Okay.
Tron is 48 inches. I
Okay.
actually thought he wasn't going to be tall enough for a lot of other things, but he just barely made it to 44 inches, and we didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
um, which came up on our Animal Kingdom Day in a positive way.
So would he have gone on Tron? Like, was he wanting to go on it and disappointed that he couldn't?
He is he's pretty good. He's he's a trooper. Well, and I don't know. He's okay with it. He knows that there's some things that he can do, and some things that he can't do that his brother can do because his brother's just older. So he, you know, he's a pretty happy kid. So he was fine. He
Yeah,
got to go get ice cream with my dad.
I guess what I meant was, had he been tall enough, was he brave enough to do Tron?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, he would do it. I'm
Okay.
almost certain. The, it's basically like a motorcycle,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like Guardians is sort of, more complicated. And
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, I think he would have.
Okay. All right. What was next?
So Teddy wanted ice cream like Charlie had gotten. So we went and got some stuff from Anti-Gravities, and they had
Mm-hmm.
these Space Ranger drinks that were really good. Um, I got the Zerg one, which was not good. It tasted like purple. But the Space Ranger drink was
It
was really
tasted
good.
purple.
It was not good. I really like ice cream, and it was bad. Um, it had this interesting cherry thing that broke apart, but it didn't make up for the rest of it.
Mm,
But this, I would tell people to get the Space Ranger one. That one was really, really good. My kids rarely eat everything, so we get to sample stuff.
mm-hmm.
And it had these little like boba balls that were apple, and it was very tasty.
Mm,
Let's see. So Then we went to Barnstormer because my kids really like Barnstormer. And then we did Seven Dwarfs. We had a lightning lane for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Charlie said that the Dwarfs was his favorite that day. Teddy said the Tron was his favorite. We got a really good photo on that ride. Everybody, uh, was smiling and looking at the camera and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, and we got my dad and my husband to do some of the rides they hadn't done last time, like this whole trip. And I think my dad said that was his first time, and he said that he, he really liked it. So I didn't remember him opting out last time, but that's what he said.
Hmm. I wrote down that you all were going to be doing Winnie the Pooh for the first time.
We did do that one. It was cute. I'm glad we did it. We almost left the park without doing it, but I insisted. So, but then we went back to the hotel for lunch and nap and swim time.
So after your midday break, I know you were planning to hop to Hollywood Studios because you did have an Oga's reservation. So how did that go?
So we canceled that for that day. We just thought it made more sense the way that we had it planned on another day after that. So we did not do that day.
Okay. So canceled Oga's altogether.
Yeah, we had a backup Oga's, which we did wind up using later.
Okay. So after your break, did you went back to excuse me to Magic Kingdom?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Just basically for fireworks and the parade, and Teddy and my dad to go on Tron.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, that makes sense. All right, Sunday, May the 31st. This was also a Magic Kingdom day, but it was also a day where you were switching from Coronado over to the Swan Resort. And I made a note that you weren't sure about luggage transfer. I don't think that they transfer to the Swan, but please correct me if I'm wrong.
They do.
They do.
So that was
Oh,
really nice. That
okay.
was super nice. At first I thought, oh, it'll be easier and more guaranteed to just stuff all of our things in my parents' rental car that they had.
Mm-hmm.
But as I started to stuff the car, I was starting to realize that I didn't think there was enough space.
Mm,
So I asked, and I should have just done that from the beginning because they said, yep, we definitely transfer, and they transferred all of our stuff. Um, Although I will say that I think they probably temporarily lost something, but they
oh,
did eventually find it. It Charlie had a couple of stuffies that were in a bag. Um,
uh-huh.
and so we didn't get a notification that they had found it until the very last day that we were in Florida. But they did
Mm.
ship it to us, and we do have it now.
So will they move? So it sounds like, okay, they'll move luggage from a Disney resort over to the Swan and Dolphin. Will they do the opposite? Go from the Swan and Dolphin to a Disney resort? Do you know?
I don't know because I think that's the Swan and Dolphins decision.
Mm,
So I don't know. And this is probably too in the weeds, but I think strategically it probably makes more sense for most people to go from Disney to the Swan and Dolphin as opposed to the other way, just because of lightning lanes and things like that.
yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
but yeah, I don't know.
All right. So after getting your stuff transferred over to the Swan, you didn't actually go over to the Swan yourself, it sounds like. It sounds like you went ahead and proceeded forward with your Magic Kingdom time. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. It was a little bit of a late start, but we did go over there and we met up with our friends. So we did some little rides and stuff like that. It was later on in the morning. We did Barnstorming again. Uh, we just did little stuff. Then we went to Big Thunder. That one was later in the day. So we didn't really utilize necessarily like our lightning lanes as much as we could have. But we just sort of treated it like a transfer day to some extent and took it sort of easy,
Mm-hmm.
and did some smaller rides.
You had a 2 p.m. reservation for Beacon Barrel. Did you make it over there?
We did not do, or oh, we did. Yeah, we did actually go to Beacon Barrel.
Mm-hmm.
That was okay. I don't know that we're gonna go back there. Um, it was fine. We got sat in the back. We couldn't really see
Mm-hmm.
anything happening up in the front. It was fine. But I don't know that we need to do it again.
Yeah, maybe while the kids are so young, it's not so much of a priority for you. Maybe when they're a little bit older, it might be fun to go back.
I kind of prefer the atmosphere of Space 220. Like I would go back there. Um, but I would say overall the lounges for us that we did go to this time were kind of a disappointment. They just weren't as impressive.
Okay. You had dinner reservations at 7 p.m. at Beaches and Cream. So, what time are we talking right now after your Beacon Barrel? Like, what were you doing in the interim between that reservation and your dinner reservation?
We did a lot of just smaller rides and walking around and stuff because our friends were with us.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing really of note, like just a lot of the kid rides types of things.
Mm-hmm. When you did make it to your dinner reservation at Beaches and Cream, assuming you made it over there, I wrote down you wanted to try the kitchen sink, which I always think is very ambitious.
We did not make it to that. We were all, we canceled a fair amount of reservations just because we were too tired.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, we didn't do that. We did wind up getting ice cream, but not there.
Okay. All right. Monday, June the 1st, this was the day that your friends went home. Did they go home in the morning or did they spend the day with you before they headed back?
So they were going to meet us back up in the park. But babies make everything like super easy, right? So they, they made it to the park, and then that was the morning that we had a bunch of like we had Frozen get canceled, and then Guardians get canceled, and so
Mm,
it was just a lot of walking around for the most part. They woke up a little late. We did Remy's before they even got there, but we didn't even see them in the park. They
mm,
were on the opposite side, like because we were at the Swan already. Like we were on opposite sides of the park,
mm-hmm.
and so they were just like we're calling it, because it's a lot of work to get out of the hotel on time and that type of thing on the
Right.
last day, especially with the baby. So we
Mm-hmm.
saw them later on in the trip, but not that day.
Right. And coming from the Swan, that was an easy entrance to Epcot through the International Gateway. Was that the first time that you had stayed over at one of the Boardwalk area resorts?
Yeah, it was. I remember walking it as a kid, but that's the first time I've ever stayed there. It was really convenient and really
Mm-hmm.
nice.
What did you think about the Swan compared to the Disney resorts?
It's more adult, I would say overall, but they were really nice to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely you don't feel like there's as much Disney going on there, but I think it's kind of hard to beat, like as far as just like value and being able to walk to the parks, and they have awesome pools and there's multiple to choose from. So I mean, I don't know, I would consider going back for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was overall we liked it. And we were able to get room service too.
Oh,
So that was
yes.
nice.
An added benefit there. Yeah, it's a Marriott property. So if you have Marriott points, it can also be good for that. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of pluses to the Swan and Dolphin.
Yeah, that's actually how we booked it,
Mm-hmm.
was through points.
All right. Did you take a midday break on this day because you were so close?
We did take a break. I think this was our first pool day where we actually stayed in the pool for any extended period of time. And Teddy made a little friend who
Mm-hmm.
he kept wanting to go find again. So we never made it to the big pool at the hotel until like the very last day because he kept wanting to go back and try to find his friend Henry
Oh.
at the other pool.
So was this pool break before your Space 220 lunch or after?
We didn't wind up doing Space 220 this time.
Oh, you saved
Um,
that for a different day. Okay.
yeah, we didn't wind up doing it at all, actually. We did it last time.
Oh,
And
okay.
I overplanned. Like I planned more restaurants than I knew that we were going to do, just so we had options.
No, I think that's the way to go. I think having some random reservations that you're like, okay, I might cancel this or I might not, or having it available if you decide that you would like to sit down for something is kind of nice. I usually book like four reservations and then inevitably my guys are like, hey, can we go here? And then I have to sort of make a reservation on the fly. So I sort of do the opposite, but I do think, especially if you are not somebody who goes quite as often as we do, having lots of reservations just so you have the options and have it locked in is good. All right, beer garden for dinner. Speaking of reservations.
So we did not do our reservation at Beer Garden. We'll probably try to do that the next time that we go back. We did go to lunch at Via Napoli
Mm-hmm.
that day, and the boys really liked that. So we did wind up, we had a reservation for that for dinner later on in the trip, and we wound up doing it again. They
Oh,
really,
okay. Okay. Yeah, definitely make your way back over to Beer Garden because that is one of our favorites. It's so much fun with the entertainment and everything. And I wrote down that your friends Jacob and April had recommended it. So that leads me to believe that that would have been your first time there.
yes, it would
Okay.
have been.
Okay. All right. Next time. Next time. All right. Tuesday, June the 2nd. This was an Animal Kingdom day. And you were planning to rope drop. And I wrote down that you were debating whether you would take Disney transportation to get there or not. Since you were at the Swan, you could walk over to the boardwalk and take their bus if you had wanted to.
Yeah, so that's what we did. We walked over to the boardwalk and took their bus. The buses don't leave very often, but it was fine. I was able to refill my refillable mug there while we waited.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to Animal Kingdom just barely in time for a rope drop.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked out.
Okay. What was your first activity once you made it over to Animal Kingdom?
So the first activity we did was the safari.
Mm-hmm.
The boys really like that one. So early in the morning, all the animals are out and stuff. So that was nice.
Okay. And you had an individual lightning lane for Flight of Passage this day. Based on where I have it in my notes, it makes me think maybe it was kind of on the earlier side.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. We had lightning lanes for River Journey, which we did right before we did the lightning lane for Flight of Passage.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where, as I was alluding to a little bit earlier, this is where we learned that Charlie's 44 inches tall. Um, I thought that I had messed up the reservations because we did have a lightning lane for Charlie, and I was like, oh no, I don't think he's 44 inches. But then the lady measured him, and he was just barely 44 inches, so they let him go on.
Oh, wow. So, how did he like it?
He liked it a lot. He had a lot of fun. And the last time my dad didn't go and my husband didn't go, and they went too, and they enjoyed it as well.
Good. All right. Did you do Cali River Rapids? I wrote down that you were considering doing that day.
Yeah, we did do that, and I think it was at a better time this time than the last time. We did it around 11 o'clock, so it was warmer,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had lunch at Satuli. But yeah, the kids love the river rapids, so we knew we were going to do that at least one time.
Mm-hmm. How was lunch at Satuli?
Satuli was awesome. We will definitely be going back there again.
Yes,
Um,
one of the best
good
quick services on property.
Mhm. For sure. We really liked that. But then we went to Zootopia
Mm-hmm.
and we got those, and I really liked that. I did not. I was not a fan of what was there before. Um, it was kind of creepy, in my opinion. But we really liked Zootopia. We really liked the movie, and I thought that the show was great. I had fairly low expectations,
Mm-hmm.
but I really liked it. And then we went and got one of those ice cream sandwiches that everybody's seen at Terra Treats, and
Mm-hmm.
those were fabulous.
Okay. Did you get one to have for the four of you, or did everybody get their own? Because I think that they're, from what I've heard, very rich and easy to split.
They're really big. My husband's not a big ice cream person. It bothers his stomach. So I had one, and then the kids split one.
Oh, okay.
I
All
like
right.
ice cream.
All right. What else did you do on this day before your dinner reservation, which I believe was over at Animal Kingdom Lodge at Boma?
So we did not go to Boma. Um,
So many pivots here. I love it. What did you do
we have
instead?
we have We have kids. You have to pivot a lot.
Yes.
So it's just like part of the job. They're little, and so we have to accommodate them, but it's still fun no matter what we do.
Hmm.
So we went back to the hotel for some swim time, and we got room service that day, which was really nice. And we watched How to Train Your Dragon, and my son commented that they should have a theme park for that, and we were like, they do. So that might be in our future.
It sounds
Um,
like it.
yeah.
Wait, which version did you watch? The animated, or I know they made like a real life version, right?
We don't watch the live action stuff. We watch
Okay.
the original version.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So that brings us to Wednesday, June the 3rd, which was a Hollywood Studios day. You continued with your multi-pass lightning lane, which you used pretty much every day of the trip. I wrote down you had pre-planned multi-pass for Slinky, Toy Story Mania, Tower of Terror, and then an individual lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance, which is Charlie's favorite ride, or it was at the time that we spoke last time. Maybe he has some new favorites.
Yeah, Charlie's getting a little bit of fear in him. He used to be sort of fearless, and so um, he did not like Rise quite as much as he did the last time. Last time he thought the villains were funny, and now he's a little bit scared of them.
Mm-hmm.
Although it wasn't too bad. We did do both of our lightning lanes, and he was just fine. Um, but we rope dropped Hollywood. We It was really nice taking the boat from the Swan. That was like super fast.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I would say Epcot and Hollywood are probably our kids' two favorite parks. And so that having the boat there was so convenient. It's one of the things I
Mm-hmm.
like the best about the hotel. But yeah, so we mobile ordered some tachos. Um, Not our favorite thing. And then we went to Rise, and then we went back to Slinky. But yeah, so we did a bunch of rides. We did Toy Story Mania too.
Mm-hmm.
All of this was Lightning Lane. We were just going back and forth and back and forth between like Toy Story Land and
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, Galaxy's Edge.
Mm-hmm. Did you end up taking a midday break on this day as well?
We actually went all day on this day. It was really nice weather this day,
Mm-hmm.
and so it wasn't difficult to just stay in the park. Plus, we did wind up doing Oga's. We had an Oga's reservation this day. It was our backup,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was at 2 o'clock. So it would have been harder to go back and do the pool that day. Um, but yeah, I mean, we did not go back that day. We had Fantasmic that night. We had stuff
Mm-hmm.
booked all throughout the day, and the weather was like 75, and then got up to about 80, and
Mm-hmm.
that was it. It was a really nice day.
Oh, perfect. And you had plans to do Fantasmic with that dining package over at Sci Fi. So,
Mhm.
first time at Sci Fi, what did you think?
Well, I have been to sci-fi like a long time ago,
Okay.
when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
but and it hasn't really changed. Um, it was fine. The kids actually did sit, which was nice. I wasn't sure if they'd be interested enough to just sit and eat and, all of that. But they did, and the food wasn't that great though. I almost wonder, this is bad, but I almost wonder if they cook it in the dark because my hamburger was almost completely rare. Um,
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, so I don't know that we'll be going back there again. Maybe do a different one. Um,
Yeah.
Rather than that. But the Fantasmic package was nice. It was nice having reserved seating and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Although you do still have to line up pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it or not, but Fantasmic was awesome.
And this was your first time doing Fantasmic, is that right?
It was.
But had you
Hmm.
done it when you went to California?
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, because it's similar enough. So just wondering about that, except for the fact that in Florida, obviously, they have their own little stadium to do that, whereas in California, you're sort of sitting out there in front of Pirates of the Caribbean, and it happens on that island over there. Um, in my opinion, and maybe it's colored by the fact that I have seen Fantasmic so many times. I don't think there's a bad seat except for the ones that get you wet, like that are down so close. So I don't think personally that it is necessary to do a dining package. You can roll up like right at the end and just find a seat. You do not have to be in the dead center to enjoy the show. So I would just encourage people not to get too stressed about Fantasmic. Just show up when you want to show up, and wherever you sit, you're going to enjoy it.
I would kind of agree. And it was actually windy that night, so even though we were like halfway up, we did wind up getting kind of wet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I'd almost rather sit at the top because then not only are you for sure not getting wet, but when the show's over, you can kind of navigate your way out a little bit faster. So, all right. This brings us to Thursday. Yes, Thursday, June the 4th. And this was another Hollywood Studios day. with some different lightning lanes planned. I wrote Rock and Roller Coaster, Toy Story Mania again, another individual lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance, and then trying to see the Indiana Jones show. So, did you have any pivots?
We actually kept mostly to this. We did all of them. My husband did not wind up doing Rock and Roller Coaster. Um, just somebody needed to stay with Charlie, and then he decided just not to do it. We did do the rider swap, but
Mm-hmm.
he wound up not using it. But I love that ride.
Mm-hmm.
It really hasn't changed. It's just Muppet themed now, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad Teddy got to ride it with me because he's finally 48 inches. So that was
Mm-hmm.
cool for him to get to go with me.
Yeah. And what about Indiana Jones? Because that was something you did not do on the previous Hollywood Studios day.
Yeah, so we did Indiana Jones. The kids loved that show the last time, but
Mm-hmm.
of course it was a little bit different last time. It was such an awkward transition to when they didn't have the ball scene.
Yeah.
It was still cool, but it was much shorter, it seemed like to me. We still enjoyed it, but it is a little different now. I didn't really anticipate how different it would really feel.
Mm-hmm. I have not yet seen it without the ball. I don't think. I'm trying to. Yeah, I don't think I've been back to see it since that has gone away. I'm a little surprised that they're still leaving that part out because yes, it's horrible that that happened and that someone was injured in the line of duty, a cast member, trying to prevent it from going into the audience. But I'm also like, how many times did that show run and that never happened? It just seemed like such a one-off, and to have it not running with the ball again, I would have thought that they would have just maybe put some precautionary measures into the set just to make sure that it can't hop the track, um, and then brought that back. So it's odd to me that it's still modified.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thoughts. They're probably just trying to make sure it's really safe though, because there's kids and all of that.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I get it. And then I'll not, you know, of course the kids, of course the audience, of course everybody, but also like all of those actors are part of the Actors Equity Association. It's a union that I'm a proud member of, and I know that it's got to be part of that as well. So I get it, but I'm also like that. How long has it been since that happened? So I'm just surprised that it's gone on this long, that they haven't come up with some sort of solution to be able to bring that back in a safe way. So
Yeah, that'll be cool if they figure it out.
yeah, I hope so. I have faith in them. They're Imagineers. They got to figure it out. All right. I wrote that you were going to try for the Frozen show this day.
So we didn't wind up doing the Frozen show this time. The
Mm,
boys just really love the pool so much that like we just wound up going back to the pool rather than doing Frozen.
okay. This was the day you made it back to the big pool, though.
It was.
Okay. How is
Yeah,
the
that was.
big pool over there? Does it have a water slide and all that?
It has a water slide, it has a waterfall, there's like a little grotto, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's like all these little connections to other smaller pools. So if you have a really tiny kid, they have a really small pool that
Mm-hmm.
they can go in. You don't have to worry so much about them. But then there's all these other connecting pools, which I didn't even realize from looking at the photos, but that was kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked the pool there.
Okay. Dinner this night was when you went back to Via Napoli. But I also wrote that you had the backup Beacon Barrel. You said you didn't end up going back for that. You canceled this one.
Yeah, we did
Okay.
cancel that one.
All right. Anything else to report on this day then?
Um, we did do in the morning, we did do Grogu mode. That was kind
Oh,
of fun.
yes, that is the new hot thing on Smuggler's Run is getting it into. In fact, I literally just last night sent Alex another TikTok because I had sent him one, and sometimes he ignores them because I'm his mom and apparently not always the coolest. But I was like, no, I'm sending you a second TikTok about this because I need you to pay attention to these instructions so we can do Grogu mode.
They will help you if you have trouble with it. Like we were
Okay.
able to do it with two small kids, so it's not that complicated.
Okay. And was it fun?
It was fun. It was
Have you
really
ever
cute.
have you ever done Chewy mode?
No, we wanted to last time. It didn't quite work out. And then we tried to do it this time, and they've eliminated that. You only have the new like Mandalorian options. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, we did the chewy mode one time, but like we told them in advance as we were walking in that we wanted to do it, and they just like set it up for us, which I thought was nice. So I think if you're trying to do Grogu mode and you don't know how to do it, you haven't paid attention to the instructions, yeah, just say something and they'll help. All right, so Friday, June the 5th, this was your checkout day from the Swan. You were hoping to get a late checkout. Were you able to arrange that?
just barely. So we got like an extra hour or so, but realistically, all we wound up doing was getting to Epcot for rope drop. And then we did get to go on test track again, which the boys love.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice that we got to do that one last time before we left. But we wound up leaving the park pretty early. They went to Mission to Mars or Mission to Space or whatever that's called. Um, Mission to Barf. Um, I did not do that. They did that, I think, 3 times over the course of the trip, and it just gives me way too much motion sickness. So I went and got myself a coffee
Mm-hmm.
every single time they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was basically our last day. So we just like we got it done kind of early and packed up, and then headed off to Merritt Island to hang with our friends for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the if you need like a car there, I thought it was really convenient. You can just go to the Dolphin lobby and they have them right there.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, it's nice.
Okay. Now, these last couple days, of course, were non-Disney. You were hanging out at their place, but I know that you went to Kennedy Space Center, or you were at least you were planning to, and you were planning to do Cocoa Beach. So, if we could just talk about those two things individually, Kennedy Space Center, did you make it there?
We did. We went on the very last day, basically the last full day on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and spent most of the day there. The simulators were a little too intense for Charlie, and so we chickened out on those.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but and, I don't know. It might be for a little bit older kids.
Mm-hmm.
Our friends really love space, clearly, because they worked on the Artemis project. But I don't know. I mean, I think maybe we'll try again when the kids are a little older. But it was a little
Mm-hmm.
more like a museum and like over dramatized videos
Oh,
than
yeah.
like really like a park. So maybe we should have done it before. I don't know. But I don't think it's real little kid oriented.
Okay, that's very good to know. Cocoa Beach. What did you think about that as a beach?
Cocoa Beach was awesome. It was a little bit of a windy day and a little bit of like rough waters and stuff, but I
Mm-hmm.
could see if it was just like a normal day, it would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
If your kids like getting like seashells and stuff like that, it's a perfect shell beach. There's all kinds of shells there.
Mm-hmm.
And our boys, like we got in the water and we swam and we hung out for a little while. And then there's like a little ice cream shop that I think it's a little family-owned ice cream shop that we went to. But that was
Mm-hmm.
a really nice chill day after all the, just moving around in chaos and like awesome chaos, but chaos of Disney,
Mm-hmm.
just to relax a little bit.
Okay, so June 8th, Monday, June 8th, was your travel day back?
Hmm.
Okay, how did everything go with that? And I forgot to ask, like what day did your parents leave? Were they with you for all of this
So
as
they
well?
left on Friday morning. They did not go to the parks with us on Friday morning. They went to St. Pete's Beach.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, so we split there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and St. Pete's is over by Clearwater, right?
I think so.
Okay, so opposite coast line. What did they think about that as a beach?
They've been there many times. They love
Mm-hmm.
St. Pete's.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been over to Clearwater before, and I remember the water being fairly calm and like lots of stuff to do right there by the beach to grab lunch and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was nice. I don't think I've ever been to one of the beaches on the Atlantic coast though. So for my
Yeah,
list to do at some point.
there's so many beaches to choose from there. I think my husband wants to do more of the beach and just relaxing next time.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Disney's a busy trip. He's like, we need a non-busy trip this next time.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you considered trying to book a stay at Disney's Vero Beach?
I didn't know. I don't think I've even heard of that.
Okay, it's a DVC property, but you can get some cash stays depending on, when you're booking. It has to, I think, be within that 7-month window. Or you could rent DVC points or rent a DVC stay there. But it's a DVC resort that's right on Vero Beach. So literally, like, there's a beach right outside, unlike DVC's Hilton Head Resort, where the beach is like a shuttle ride away. This one, it's right out there, and they have really good viewing of the turtles during that season. But from what I hear, it's a very nice resort, and it's just a very calm, relaxing beach type vacation with the added benefit of like a Disney store in the resort, like a gift shop, like you would normally find it in a Disney resort, and you can do a character dining there. So kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I wish my kids were into the character. Well, I don't know if I wish, but I thought they'd be into the character dining, but they're really not that much into it. I thought Charlie would be for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, they're not. That's not their deal.
Not their jam. That's okay.
No.
That's okay. Plenty of kids who are not into the characters and still find so many things to do at Disney. That's the beauty, is there's something really for everyone. Well, this sounds like such a fun trip, and you know what I have to ask, which is, when are you going back?
So I did book the bounce back deal. I don't think we're going to actually use it next year. We'll probably push it. But, my husband is like, why don't we wait until all those new rides, because there's so much construction going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we wait until the new rides are up? So that would probably put us around like 2 years.
Okay.
So we'll see. But he did agree to 3 trips this year, and considering where we're located, I think that's a lot. And that we have a 7-year-old and almost 5-year-old. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it for this year, and then hopefully we make it back sometime soon, but it may not be next year.
Yeah, that's okay. There's lots of places to see out there, and it sounds like he really would like to have a beach vacation in your near future. So, all right. Well, Alex, thank you so much for coming back on the show. I love having repeat guests so I can kind of hear how the family has grown and the things that they're into from between one trip and another. It's always a good time for me, and I really appreciate you giving me the time and taking such good notes, and I hope you will be back.
I appreciate you having me. It was so nice to be back on the show.
Thank you again to Alex for returning to the podcast, and thank you again to Amy Belfi for the work you did to help plan Alex's trip. Listeners, Amy's information is in the show notes, so please reach out to her if you're looking for your own fantastic travel agent. And thank you to all of you for listening this week and for listening every week. I really do appreciate the love and support, and I hope that you will continue to like what I'm doing here in my own little corner of the internet. That is all for now. Have a magical day, and as always, keep daydreaming about where you long to be.